The case file was thin in the places it shouldn't have been, and heavy where it didn't matter. A few black and white photographs. A brittle map folded too many times. Interview notes written in a hurried hand. At the center of it all was a name that still made people in town lower their voices decades later. She was found on a cold morning in the late 1980s, in a place so ordinary it seemed designed to erase meaning. A narrow service road behind a strip of shuttered shops. No witnesses. No weapon recovered. The official conclusion, reached with unsettling speed, was that investigators had done everything they could. They hadn't. At the time, the town was eager to move on. The factory had just announced layoffs. A local election was weeks away. Detectives chased the most obvious theory. A stranger passing through. Someone untraceable. Someone safely gone. They canvassed the area once, collected statements that contradicted each other, and quietly filed away tips that didn't fit the narrative. Within a year, the case was cold. Within 5, it was forgotten by everyone except the family. Her sister never forgot the sound of the phone ringing that morning. Never forgot how the detective avoided eye contact. For years, she clipped newspaper articles and kept them in a box under her bed, convinced that something essential had been missed. When she asked about evidence, she was told it had been lost in a move. When she asked about suspects, she was told there were none worth naming. The review began almost by accident. A junior analyst, tasked with digitizing old files, noticed something odd. 2 witness statements taken hours apart described the same car, parked in the same unusual position at the same time. In the original investigation, the statements had been logged under different spellings and never compared. One witness was dismissed as unreliable. The other was never contacted again. As the file was rebuilt, mistake after mistake surfaced. A fingerprint marked unusable had never been run through updated databases. A time of death estimate was based on an assumption, not evidence. Most damning of all, an early suspect, someone known to the victim, someone interviewed briefly and released, had provided an alibi that was never verified. When investigators tracked down the alibi decades later, it collapsed in minutes. The emotional weight of the review pressed down on everyone involved. Detectives found themselves reading transcripts from people long dead, listening to tape recordings warped by time. Each discovery carried a quiet fury. This didn't have to stay unsolved. It had been allowed to. The twist came when the fingerprint finally spoke. Not a perfect match, but enough to reopen doors thought sealed forever. It led to a name buried deep in unrelated records, a life that had unraveled after murder in small, telling ways. By then, the person was beyond reach, dead or vanished, depending on which database you believed. The case remains officially unsolved, but it is no longer unexplained. For the family, the review didn't bring justice in the way movies promise. There was no arrest, no courtroom reckoning. What it brought was something quieter and heavier. Confirmation that their doubt had been justified, that the truth hadn't been elusive so much as mishandled. The town still looks the same. The service road is paved now. The shops are different. But the file, once thin and careless, is thick with annotations and regret. It stands as evidence of a harder truth. That sometimes mysteries endure not because answers are impossible, but because people stop looking too soon.